Hey.
Awesome. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Adam McCauley. Some of you may or may not know me. I've been teaching martial arts in the old A&P shopping center on Wilshire Avenue for 26 years I've had my business. So a lot of the students now, the instructors were my students since they were 3 and 4 years old. So they're like a product of the product. So I'm really proud to just say that because I'm a proud papa. Some of these guys here, these are my junior instructors, Miss Isabel, Mr. Frankie, Mr. Daniel, and it's Miss Olivia. And they started with me when they were 3 years old. So they're now 4 or 5. So I really brought them here for a couple of reasons. One, they're part of our leadership and martial arts professional and how to teach and how to really one day conduct things like this. So they're part of our instructor training program. So they're shadowing me, watching how to do this. And also, if you guys have any questions, I thought it'd be really, really important to ask kids who at that age go through some challenging times, especially in this new digital age that we live in. So what I'd like everybody to do is put one finger up like this, doesn't matter which one, and just make a circle. Okay, so that's maybe a weight for you. Now do one going towards you. Now put them both in together and do them opposites. Now most of you fall into doing them the same way because it's just easier. So this is the brain of a child. Right? If you can't do something and you can't connect the dots, a lot of times kids can't either. So I'm doing that because a lot of times as adults, we tend to go, why don't you know this? Like, I did this, you should be able to do this, and stand up for yourself, and don't let that kid walk all over you, and we forget as adults, that was many years ago. And we forgot what it felt like. We forgot the little things have big ripple effects, and those little things make big, big changes in our life. Now, personally, I came from a school through the Mount Vernon school system, and it was the place to live when I was younger, but it ended up being a really, really tough area. And right about into the 6th grade, I was good, confident and everything, and just friendly and making friends. And then the middle school hit. And this middle school was really challenging, and that's why I'm really happy to be here for you guys, so I can answer your questions and give you some tools to help you understand that transitional time for the kids. But when I went to middle school, it was a bigger school. It was much more challenging in taking buses and how you had to get from class to class. And, one day, these kids thought I had said something bad to them. And they said, don't get on the bus because we're going to beat you up. I said, okay. So all day long, guess what I was worried about? Getting on the bus. That was every second of the day. And I said, well, I have 2 choices. I get on the bus or I don't get on the bus. And I said, I'm going to get on the bus because these kids just misunderstood me and whatever. But the chatter had already gone on that there was going to be a fight off the bus. Remember the 3 o'clock bell movies and things like that? So I got on the bus. Me and my twin brother, I figured power in 2s. We get on the bus and I talked to the kids and we ironed it all out. And it was great. Got off the bus. These 2 other kids I didn't even know. What, there's not gonna be a fight? They decided to beat up me and my brother. Wow. So much so that all I remember is my head going one way, going another way, and these girls saying, run! And that's what I did. Me and my brother just took off and ran. So then for the next 3 months, yes, 3 months, I cut school. My parents would drop us off at the bus stop, we would wave, they would drive, and we would walk back home. Now back then, they didn't keep such good tabs on you, right? So we graduated with D's, and we stayed in our backyard. We had this little forest in the back, so we stayed in there, made a little hut, and then around 3 o'clock when my mom would come home, we knew that we would come home after that. So, hey mom, she's like, how was school? Great, blah, blah, blah. So we did this for that whole time out of, fear. Fast forward, I took martial arts, I learned how to stand up for myself, the teacher gave me these great skills. I saw those same 2 kids. Oh man, this was my time. Because I was doing tournaments and I was like unbelievable in the ring. My teacher brought out the tiger. So I saw those same 2 kids. And then I went the other way. I just walked right by them. I said, you know what? Martial arts didn't teach me how to fight. They taught me how not to fight. So I walked right by them, so confident, they didn't even remember me. So this was these 2 kids just decided to do it. But if they would have attacked me, I would have been able to take care of myself. So a lot of times when I'm teaching, I talk about this specific time in my life that I had to go through, because pain is something that propels you to push hard, yeah? So I want to really challenge all the parents in here to not let your kids manipulate you in a way that touches your heartstring, because moms are very caring, nurturing people. And a lot of times you don't want your children to fail, and through that failure comes results. Through that, like getting through something is where character is built. So I don't want you to dismiss that in this day and age where a lot of times you need your kid to have a cell phone because you want to feel safe, and I get it. Or you want to make sure that everything is done and put into order. I get that too. But we all come from a time where, you know, we went and did things. My parents would say, go play. Just here's a quarter and come home before it's dark. Now I'm not so sure I would let my kids do that, I have to be honest, because it is a different day, and I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying don't be so much like this type of person that just suffocates out of the fear factor. Because there's 3 types of people in this world, and I do this from our women's self-defense to, you know, when I teach U.S. Marshals and law enforcement to kids and bully prevention. There are 3 types of people in this world. There's the paranoid person who says, there's going to be somebody always around the corner. I can't go around the corner. That's right? Then there's going to be the naive person. Oh, there's nobody around the corner. I don't want to be those type of people. I want to be the cautious person. Say, hey, there might be somebody around the corner. What am I going to do? How would I handle it? Ask the question, because when you ask the question beforehand, you come up with the answer. It doesn't matter what the answer is. It's just that you ask the question of yourself, and then you'll come up with the answer. Like even something like, am I being rational? Am I being a helicopter parent? Am I being too lenient? Am I letting this person go with the right people? Am I doing this? When you ask those questions, you start asking those right questions. But don't forget, you have that butterfly in your stomach that tells you a lot of good things, and that intuition, there's nothing else except for that butterfly feeling. So you have to really keep tabs on that and go with your gut sometimes. Right? So when it comes to kids and bullying, we go, okay, how many of you know what a bully is? Only 2 people? I don't know. 3, 4, 5. Those hands went up fast, guys, right? How many of you have ever seen a bully? How many of you, and this is your whole lifetime and it could be through your kids. How many of you have ever been bullied? Okay? How many of you are a bully?
I think we all are. Depends on how the other person takes it.
Okay, answer that. So this is a really important question, and this is when you ask yourself, am I a bully? So, I try to describe what is a bully, because most people, I think, they have a wrong definition of bully. Because, how many of you adults rag on your friends? You know, it's playful teasing, right? It's playful teasing. Oh, you this, you that. Oh, we can laugh about it. So a lot of times, kids do the same thing. How many of you like chocolate ice cream? How many of you like vanilla? So there's going to be differences. So you might like the fact that we rag on each other, but I don't like that. I don't like when you rag on me. So you might be thinking it's fun, and I'm taking it like you're bullying me. Does everybody see that? Make that connection? That's important, because kids, they could be mean. You know, kids, they could be mean. They want what they want when they want it. How many of you have kids? All of you. They want what they want when they want it. And they want it yesterday. However, I'd much rather have $1 today than $5 next week. Because they're not at an age where they say, oh, I'd rather wait, and I get 5 times as much. So as parents, you have to think about that. Okay, well, how do I use that against you? How do I help you understand that you're not being bullied? That was a mean kid. That was a kid. You know, so bullying is something that happens intentionally and repeatedly. Intentionally, repeatedly. Intentionally, repeatedly. Over and over again. Even the kids that beat me up, they were not bullying me. They just jumped me. They were just mean kids. They didn't repeatedly see me, stalk me out, keep beating me up. Did I think it was bullying at the time? Absolutely. Was I fearful of my life? Absolutely. But as long as I make the connection now, I can then deal with it as a situation. And a lot of times, my parents did not know that we got beat up. We kept it from them. Both me and my twin brother. We kept it from them. As we got older, of course, we told them. But we kept it from them. So then you ask as a parent, well, how much is my kid really going to tell me? Oh, my kid tells me everything. How many of you say that? My kid tells me everything. I once had a brown belt come to my room. He did something that he didn't do, he got suspended for it. And his parent was adamant, my kid told me he didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. I said, look, let me have a couple minutes with him, please. Came into my office, we talked, we chatted, he came clean. He did do it. Even after the fact, his mom said, oh, you coerced him to say that? Because in her mind, it was, my son can't do that. And just understand, we all went through the ages and we know what we can manipulate. We know what we want to say so we don't get in trouble. We want to play our cards right. And sometimes when we get back in the corner, then we just fess up. Right? So you just have to understand it as parents, is where do you draw the line? Where do you make sure that something is seriously happening over and over again, and it's intentionally happening? So I think of bullying as someone who is trying to control you. So if you think about that, from little kids on the playground to terrorists in another country, they're all trying to control how you feel, act, live your life, and then you have to then deal with that appropriately. So you don't not get in your car because you're afraid to go down the street. You just go, okay, you ask that question, why am I getting so paranoid about this? What's the worst thing that can happen? And then you take it from there and you just do it anyway. Because you have to live your life. So I say to parents for kids, they have to live their life because they're little, they're getting bigger, they think they're bigger, but you have to then control that because kids really need discipline. They crave discipline. Parents, you don't think that, but they crave discipline. You should write that down. Because here's why. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel like somebody's driving the bus and they feel safe. They might complain about it, they might rag on you about it, but they want somebody to be driving the bus. So discipline is good. You just have to balance it and not make it a paranoid discipline and an over the kill discipline. So this goes into, parents, like, have you ever heard this come out of your mouth? You're not watching TV for a month. And you're like, why didn't you just say that? Because I'm not going to stick to that. And these 5 words are so important. You can never not teach. You can never not teach. So when you tell your child something and you don't follow through, you're teaching them that you don't follow through. So these guys, all on the dojo floor, we call the dojos my Christ. And they know if I say something, we're gonna do it, right? They know if they don't do something, this is gonna be the consequence. Because they've already instilled at a young age the consequences and the behavior challenges. And it's not like I'm, mean or bad on the floor, because they're with us for easily 10, 12, 13, 15 years, just coming month after month on their own. And I like that because then I go, okay, well, then you want to be there for the right reasons. You didn't just sign a contract to be there. You're there because you want to be there. So I try to think about it and share with the parents. Try not to blackmail your kids. Like, behave for this gentleman and we'll go out to McDonald's. Because now what you're doing is, and I know I'm getting off the topic of bullying, but it's going back to that discipline and them knowing that they can count on you to protect them. And they can't inadvertently realize that if you're just saying one thing, doing another, saying one thing, doing another, right? Because then they go, my mom's, I'm not gonna tell my mom, I'm not gonna do it. I just didn't tell my mom because she was, out doing her own thing at work and college. She was just, but she still took care of us. But it was just, at the time, I didn't want to make things worse and all this stuff. So, does anybody know the one word that will stop bullies in their track? One word.
No.
No, anybody else? Stop. Anybody else?
Help.
Help.
Fire.
Fire. Okay, this is the word. See, everybody wants the one magic thing to just stop all the pain. The word is confidence. The one word that will stop bullies in their tracks is confidence. And here's an example. We teach our kids to do 4 things. Every time they're trying to show confidence, they do 4 things. What are they?
Yeah.
What? No, belong, believe, and achieve. Yeah, that's our mission statement. But how do they show confidence? What do? They do 4 things.
Oh, stand tall, clear voice, eye contact, and smile.
Right. So those 4 things are really important because they put, they put you on the spot for a reason. You gotta work through that fire. So if I walk up to somebody and I go like this, and I go, I'm talking like this, and my head's down, this is the way that the physiology of a person shows no confidence. Their shoulders are down, their head is down, they have a shallow talk and a shallow breath. And they feel if they don't see you, that you won't see them. This is a big target. Target, short. That's what they have on you when you act like that. So how do you make sure that doesn't happen? See, if I go like this to you, you want to do that. Every single time. Even if I tell you, don't shake my hand. Don't shake it. Don't shake it. They still shake it. Why? Because I controlled you. If I go like that, what do you want to do? You want to put your hands up, right? You want to fight me back. So fighting is not the answer. Because fighting will just bring more violence, right? So as the dads in the family say, just hit him. The moms in the family say, walk away. Both are no good. So you're dooming your children. You're dooming your children. You're saying 2 different things, and then you get frustrated. Like, why? Why are you letting I want to go and beat that kid up. How dare you touch my kid? And I get it. But you have to give them the tools to work through that. And if you can control somebody to do that, it's much better if I'm confident and I put my hand out and look at you and I smile, rather than go like this. It's like, you're like, what do you want? Right? See? It just happens naturally. So if you teach your kids to do this, it will overflow into the way they carry themselves. Now, yes, we do it through martial arts because that inadvertently teaches them that they can stand up for themselves. However, with this short time that I'm with you guys, I'm going to give you some tools that you can go back and share with your children and role play it, because that's the number one way for kids to get it. They have to role play it. Even if you did a self-defense class and you did it for 3 hours, 15 hours, or whatever, if you don't practice it, you're going to lose it. Muscle memory is really important. You get out of bed, what leg do I step on? This way. You just get out of bed and walk. But technically, you're always off balance when you walk. But are you born with confidence as a child? Are you born with confidence? How many of you think that you're born with confidence? Okay. How many of you think you're taught? Okay, so you're not born with confidence, but remember being a little baby? When they fall, what did the mom do? Oh, great job! You just did 1 step and then fell. You're like, great job, let's go, you can do this. So the kid gets confident, watching, learning, because we learn by three ways, watching, listening, and doing. So then they start doing it, and you cheer them on, and then before you know it, they're walking. But what happens when they get to school? That confidence is ripped apart slowly. Kid says, no, don't take that, that's mine. That's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Okay. And then if you don't have a very outgoing personality as a child, then that starts dwindling that confidence, chiseling away. So then you have to think, okay, well, how do I build that? Because my kid is very shy. He's very, so yes, you can take him to a martial arts school. You can give him the opportunity to do other sports and activities, but you got to be very careful because a lot of these sports organized, they're done by maybe volunteers, and they want to win the game. So they'll bench the bad students, the bad players. You know, they'll penalize you if you don't hit the ball. So just be very mindful of who's really the coaching. There's a lot of great dads out there coaching, so just watch how they really interact with the kids. Not the parents so much, just the kids. You know? And it's not always a high five for everything. It's, hey, let me tell you what you did wrong and how you can improve it, because now they're taking the time to really help the child, right? So getting back to how you build this confidence in a child is you teach them. And what I usually say is, what's the easiest thing for people to remember as a child? The ABCs. I know they want to change it. The ABCs are the easiest way for kids to learn something. A, B, C, D, E, F, C. And they sing this song because it reminds them of a pattern. And pattern recognition is really important for child's development and growth. We use it at the school all the time because it's how we educate and learn. So I thought, well, what would be the best and easiest way for kids to remember things? Alphabet. So I designed the ABCs of personal safety. Now, there is a big, long thing that we go all the way through G. I'm just gonna go through the first three, and I'm gonna give you a handout so you'll remember this. You can practice with it, and you can make sure that there's also a big parent's guide of bullying. You just drop off your email right there. I'll just send it to you free of charge, nothing. And then just keep you updated on anything that we're doing at the school if you're interested in sending people our way, whatever. But the ABCs of personal safety. This goes for adults all the way down to children, because things change from adult to a child. The first letter is A. Avoid dangerous situations. Can you say that? Avoid dangerous situations. Now, a dangerous situation for a kid is different than for an adult, is different than a single mom, is different than a mom and dad, right? Like a dangerous situation would be being kidnapped, right? It's a dangerous situation. Dangerous situation would be in a fire, being shot, being hit by a car. So I try to educate people by asking questions, like, what is a dangerous situation for you guys? And it's gonna be different. A single woman shouldn't go to the laundromat by herself at night. That's a dangerous situation then. Bound to happen in the wrong time, in the wrong place. However, for a guy, maybe that wouldn't be a dangerous situation to be in. Make sense? However, even for a guy, I'm going down the city, I'm gonna walk down a dark alley by myself. I don't care, 6 degrees black with her. No, I'm not gonna do it. That's why when I go to the city, I'm like this. I get whiplash. I enjoy the Broadway shows, but I'm constantly, and everybody else is like this. Right? They're all like this, just waiting to get hit by a car. But just be aware of your situation. So avoid dangerous situations. So talk to your kids. What is a dangerous situation? Get them start understanding it's not just about bully prevention, it's about confidence building. Because when you can teach a kid to stand for something, they don't fall for anything. And if you can teach them that, they go, you know what? No, I don't need to take that cigarette just to be cool or just to feel good. But I've done this peer pressure test with cigarettes, and I'm telling you, it's real hard. I'll put 2 sticks when a kid goes to the bathroom, because it's just something amazing. It's happened every time I do it. My junior class, I don't know if you guys ever remember me doing it in your classes, but maybe around anywhere from middle school to high school. I'll make sure one kid goes to the bathroom. When they go to the bathroom, I'll take 2 of our sticks, we call them staffs. One's short, one's long. One's a bow, one's a joe. Now put them up on the window, against the mirror, and I say, guys, whatever you choose the longer stick. So the kid comes back. I say, okay, I have a short stick and a long stick. Who knows which is the long stick? Everybody's hand goes up, including the kid who just went to bed. So I'll pick the person, come up, picks the short stick. Nobody laughs, nobody says anything. And I look at the kid, and he goes, I go, that's the long stick, right? Yes, sir. Is that fact, right? Who can pick the long stick? Oh, another person picks the short stick. I do this about 3 or 4 times. Then I pick the kid who went to bed. And I know what you guys are thinking. No, he didn't do that. These are older kids. I say, pick the long stick. He picks the short stick, gives it to me. I said, is that the long stick? He says, no, sir. I said, why did you give it to me? He said, because everybody else did. It still shocks me. I still do that drill, and it's amazing. And it's because they want to fit in. It's like a 60 Minutes thing they do, right? It's a test. We all want to fit in. We all want to feel connected. And if he does everything that other people are not doing, he won't feel connected and fit in. So as parents, you have to understand this. The only way to educate and get kids to feel confident is to give them that way to get out and say, no, this one's the long stick, and that's it. And feel okay with it. So avoid dangerous situations, okay? So if she's a bully and he's a bully, well, they're both bully, yeah. Well, use both of them. So Isabel, you're over here, and you guys are friends, and you're gonna talk to each other, and you're just hanging with each other. Now, she's got 2 choices. She's gotta get to her class, and her class is over there at that wall. And she's got 2 bullies. They're known bullies. They bother people all the time. What are you gonna do, Isabel? No, don't do the right thing. What would you think? I like that. Notice conditioning, I love it. So, normally she would walk right through because she doesn't want to feel like a chicken, right? She wants to just kind of just walk around, but then it gives them an opportunity to mess with her, to bother her, right?
Kick your butts, go ahead.
You should see the fight. It's awesome. So, I always tell the kids, it's better to be a live chicken than a dead duck. And you make them laugh, because they don't want to be a chicken. So I'd rather be a live chicken than a dead duck. So they're doing that thing, you go the other way. She just takes the long way to the classroom. Then I get the question, well, I'm gonna miss the bell. So you tell the teacher after class, I'm sorry, I was late, I was trying to avoid 2 bullies. But you explain, and you tell them. And if the teacher still gets mad at them, then you go talk to them. You make sure you cover your children, and you back them up. And that's also what I can send you guys. I have a whole slew of things that you can send to the right people in regards to if you're trying to get the student, the school to back you up on some things, and for you to leave the paper trail properly. Okay, so then you go, let's say she does that. She avoids the situation. They're known bullies. They see her. They cut her off at the pads. Okay, so now you got a problem, right? So now you got to go to the second half, which is B. Now B, anybody knows? Beat them up. Be calm and breathe. Super important. When you start to get nervous, you start to hyperventilate. You start to shallow breathe, and you get nervous and worried. They've done psychological tests. What happens to the body? You just start to cave in, and that's why people get sucker punched. That's why there's things that happen to them. So then they have to breathe and be calm. And this goes for you guys too. One time I was driving my car in the Hutchinson Parkway, and it was raining. And the hutch is kind of like this. And this guy's right behind me, blasting on his horn and flashing his lights. And the testosterone just came out of me. The black belt was like, what? No, you didn't just do that. And I just wanted to like slam on my brakes and let him rear end me and then just take it to him. But I just calmed down. I just remembered what I teach. And I breathe, relax. Breathe, relax. Pulled over to the right. And he flashed right by me, doing the nice signal. And then I just kept driving. And it was raining bad, and maybe about 5 minutes down the road, he's plastered right into the guardrail. And I drive by slow, check him out, make sure he's okay, and just keep driving. You know? So that could have been me. So I look at these things and I go, well, how long does it take for you to change something, for either good or bad? Somebody says day, minute, second, really. You know, so it's important. So now they go to this next level. So she's there, he's there, and can I borrow somebody, please? Who can I borrow? Anybody? Anybody? I love this.
Okay. I was gonna get up.
Okay, your name? Yes, I'm Adam. Do I know you? I do know you. From a while ago.
Wife's mom.
Oh, okay, so let me, so you do know me. Her son does come to class. I'm sorry for not connecting that really quick, but I'm going to walk to you, Jen, and tell me when you feel uncomfortable. Feel uncomfortable? Okay. You guys also feel this. The giggles automatically uncomfortable. It's a natural response. The body lets out. Her eyes are closing. Right? You see this? You feel uncomfortable for her, right? Why do you feel uncomfortable?
Personal space.
Exactly. I'm in your personal space. So if I was the mailman, where would be our natural space? Right here. I'm giving you a package. This is natural. If we were best friends off the airplane, our personal space is hugging and just right there. A stranger, personal space should not be closer than 4 or 5 feet. That's why when I'm in the city, I'm like this. Everybody's in my personal space. So when I get close to you, which is about an arm's length, because that's where I can grab you, hit you, or take you, is right about here, is where I break that pressure. So what we do is we go to the third letter, which is, thank you. We go to the third letter, which is C. Communicate with confidence and respect. So we have to train our students and our kids, and you guys have to do this, and also for you guys, when they get to a certain spot with Isabel, she knows to keep them back by doing what?
No! Stop! Go away!
Now, see what she just did? She was able to push him back without actually touching him. And it's something that has to be constantly mock drilled with your kids. No, stop, go away. The direct eye contact is important. It can't be this. No, stop, leave me alone, please leave me alone, stop. It's got to be something where I'm telling you, because we're reversing the bullying situation, where I'm now trying to control you. So you come to me and you want to do this, that, the other thing. No! Nice and clear. Hands stay up. Stop! Retreating again, making sure that they understand that you're standing up for yourself, but you don't want to get hit. Go away. If they take a third step, you can move on to the next step, all the way down the line, because it goes all the way to D, which is, D is next, which is don't put yourself in a worse situation. E is environment works point. F is yell fire and not help. And then G, get away. And then H would be hit hard, hit fast. So we take them through this whole process before they automatically go. Yes?
Can I just give them a way they can explain that to the kids?
Absolutely, go for it.
So the way we do it in the dojo a lot at school is we tell them to use their bad dog voice. So if they're, like Renchi said, if they're, you can't go, no, stop. Like if a dog pees on the carpet, you're not going to say good dog, you're going to say bad dog. So you want to use your bad dog voice. That's what we try and tell kids. It helps them think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids, they want to have that little voice, and Isabel's worked on it a lot. She had a very low voice, and we'll constantly keep, reiterating to her, have that bad dog voice. No, stop, go away, back off now. And you just bring it up by, what are you doing? You're bringing attention to you, right? Because hopefully your kids are not in that alley by themselves. Hopefully, and we do this with adults too. Even if you're in an alley and you're doing all this, there's still what you can do to remain safe. But understand that if you go through these levels that nobody ever is taught, you just automatically go by the fight or flight theory that's built in all of us, that we're going to fight or we're going to run, and sometimes you don't have that opportunity. Because then you're sitting around waiting for that bully to watch you, and it just ruins your day and everything. So if you teach your kids, no, stop, go away, and mean it, and look at the eyes, and when they're doing it with you, they're like, no, go away. You have to train them to have that bad dog voice. You have to train them to keep that eye contact on them, and you have to train them to stand tall, because that is a whole different feeling, and how it's projected than just this. Does that make sense? And this is really important. Even for you as women and guys, if somebody comes up, you don't want to be in that personal space, because what's faster? Action or reaction? Anybody know? Reaction? How many of you think reaction is faster than action? Action is always faster. Action is always faster because it's known about. So if I stand there, I can smack you faster than you can block it. And I'll do this with so many higher degree black belts. I'll just stand there and I'm not going to smack. Boom! And I smack. So we train at a higher level to understand how to get out of that range of fire. And then train your body to move the object first. Leave your hands up there to protect yourself. And then, of course, what happens if they grab you and they do all that stuff? And it definitely gets into that. And it has to be trained on what happens, and all the way down to what happens when you get thrown on the floor and somebody's on top of you and pushing you or choking you, or put you up against the wall, or women being attacked in headlocks and grabbed. And because women are grabbed. I'm doing a self-defense class November 9th. Women are grabbed. Men are hit. So guys don't grab another guy. They'll hit him. But they'll grab a woman because they want to take him to another place and do whatever, right? Or intimidate them. So we try to teach this to the students at a young age where they can really adapt this methodology to really help them feel good and confident in themselves. This day and age with telephones and smartphones, I got away from my bullies when I went home. Now it's real hard. It's real hard to do that. Everything's Snapchat, it's gone, nobody sees it. Sadly, I had one of my students, and she had stopped this. My school, maybe 2 years later, I found out that, she was broken up by a boy, and he said, you should go kill yourself, and she did. And it's so sad, because the way that people just talk to other people, and you hear it now, I hear guys are breaking up with girls on a text message. And I'm like, what? And I tell it to my students. I'm like, guys, don't do that. I'm like, if you're gonna break up with somebody, you go talk to them. You don't do it on a text message, because what happens is you become so desensitized that it's just like, everything's so simple, and it's just the way it is. So we have to just educate our kids on how to deal with that stuff. So I think my time is up. If anybody has any questions, went a little bit over. Hopefully you got some real important key points on what you can do with your children. And it's a hard thing. It's a really hard thing. But do it before middle school, because middle school gets a little bit tougher, and that's where everybody's trying to push their weight away, find them themselves. So, do I have any questions, comments, concerns, anything? Everybody have a good time? Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Did you improve yourself? That's what's important. So, I'm just going to